What is up, guys? Good old-fashioned Cola back here for some more Animal Crossing. Right now in Ohio, it is November 2nd at 4:03 p.m. Let's get this stuff started. So it's been a little while since I last recorded here, especially in City Folk. Let's check out the mail that we got here. Some interest in our savings. Mom sent us something. I'm not even going to bother reading it because probably not very important. But we've got a lot to talk about since I last recorded. It was the 10-year anniversary of the original Animal Crossing series on this channel. I think the OG game at this point is 22 years old. Something, Mario Galaxy turned 17 yesterday, and that one sent me through a loop, because I remember getting that game when it came out, and it was like one of the first, like I had beat Mario 3 as a kid, but like, as like a real young kid, when like, you didn't have a bunch of games at your disposal, so you were like, well, I gotta play through this one. I'm trying to say, like, I had the mental fortitude and the time to sink into Mario 3. I'm not good at platformers. Shameless plug here. Go ahead and watch my new Super Mario Brothers series, and you'll see that I'm not very good at platformers. Speaking of platformers, I gotta start playing Mario Wonder again. I was loving that game, but I was playing it with Shelly, which I can say, it's personal, but I'm gonna announce it anyways. We went on vacation in September, and we are engaged, so that is a super fun thing that happened when we were on vacation. I proposed. So all the long-time videos of me saying my girlfriend Shelly is now my fiance Shelly. At this point, I mean, I'm used to saying my fiance instead, but for a while there, I would start to come out girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. No. It's like a Pokemon evolution. That's a terrible, like, Reddit ass analogy. Goose. I don't even know who you are. I guess you could go? Oh, well, I guess you're staying because I button mashed. Anyways, personal news aside, I mean, that's very exciting, I suppose. People keep asking us, like, oh, are you wedding planning? We've been together, like, over 8 years before this happened, so we keep laughing and telling people, like, oh, maybe in another 8 years. So, we're taking it pretty slow. I mean, the things we have done, I guess, are, like, working backwards. People have told us, like, we're, like, thinking, like, oh, well, who would need to be there? Let's think guest list here and like venue, and they're like, no, you should set a date first. And it's like, I don't fucking know, man. Plans change. We're very busy people. We've got a lot going on. What if like we set a date and then like a year from now something comes up? Who knows? So I don't know. We'll have to start planning eventually, but it's not on the forefront. But anyways, in super exciting non-personal news, Nintendo launched its own streaming like music service, which is pretty sweet. They launched it a couple days before Halloween, and I found it really strange how they launched it without any Luigi's Mansion soundtracks. Like the closest you can find is like on Mario Kart 8, the Luigi's Mansion course, and I was like so excited because I always like I either play the game or I listen to the music before spooky season is done, and I had to do so through YouTube. But overall, I'm loving the app. I'm hoping they add more soundtracks as time goes on. It's kind of weird that they're drip feeding like the music that they own. Like that's even like less work to throw a file in an emulator. Like you're just throwing music files on stuff. You don't even have to like optimize anything. It's fucking MP3 files. But anyways, if I had to make like a short wish list, it'd probably be like Pokemon Gen 4. I love those soundtracks. Maybe the Heart Gold Soul Silver. You throw that in Gen 4, but like technically. Mario Sunshine, Wind Waker, Animal Crossing GameCube. Maybe like Wild World City Folk soundtrack is good. Melee would be pretty fun. I mean, it's all stuff that they own. It's not like they have to worry about like licensing. not being like, oh, throw the Tony Hawk Underground soundtrack on there. No. Oh shit. In other news, When We Were Young Fest announced its lineup for next year, with Panic at the Disco returning to the spotlight, I guess. I don't know the words I'm looking for here. It's kind of like a wet fart because I got very excited. They're supposedly playing through A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, and I use the word "there" very lightly. Because at first they use the old font, they're playing through that. Usually, like bands at festivals, it's like big reunion shit. The Misfits are always like, come see the OG Misfits play at Riot Fest. This isn't Danzig and a bunch of random other dudes. This is the OGs. But I guess it's definitely going to be a bunch of hired guns and Brendan again, which sucks. I mean, I don't know if he asked Ryan and John and Spencer, like, hey, you guys want to do, like, I mean, you don't have to reunite permanently. You could continue the brand of Panic at the Disco if you want to make more shit or tour or whatever, but you could have at least done a one-off festival. Like I said, I don't know if he asked any of the guys if they wanted to do it, but I saw one tweet where it was like, Ryan Rosh should announce that he's playing through the entirety of Pretty Odd across the street and make people choose. And I would choose Pretty Odd 1,000 times out of 100. That's my favorite album of all time. Anybody who's been a part of the channel for a long time knows how much I glow about that album. Pretty much the big three of like the fucking Tumblr emo bands. That's what I'd consider them. The three of my favorite bands of all time: Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, and My Chemical Romance. Their three dark horse, like Black Sheep albums, are my favorite three out of like their discographies, respectively. Like Danger Days, there are a lot of times when Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge is probably it's objectively a better album, but like Danger Days holds a really special place in my heart. And as time goes on, man, Conventional Weapons, when you like throw all that together, make a cohesive album out of it, underrated. If you ask like My Chem fans, they probably love it, but the average listener probably hasn't spent a lot of time listening to those songs. But I mean, it's not an underrated classic anymore because people really have realized how great Folie à Deux was by Fall Out Boy. But for the longest time, that was my favorite. So Much for Stardust really is kind of like a part two of that. And then Pretty Odd, of course, for Panic at the Disco. But it's disappointing to hear that they're probably not going to have the OG lineup return. But other than that, I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 6. And as somebody who is slowly approaching his 30s, I'm turning 28 in January, which is also fucked up. I think I was like 17 when I started uploading videos. So maybe, I've uploaded videos longer than that, but like seriously tried at YouTube. I don't really try anymore, but as it's been a long journey. But anyways, I'm trying to say that I can't keep up with these kids anymore on Call of Duty, man. I'm not what I used to be. I was never like MLG Pro, FaZe Clan, but it definitely wasn't like any like scrub at shooters. But as I get older, man, I'm losing the reflexes, especially after I had that concussion last year. My vision's been fucked up since. I get blurry, eye strain a lot, and my prescription's really out of date, and I probably need contacts. People have told me that works better for people in my situation. Like, I have astigmatism in my one eye, and also my prescription's super out of date, like I said. So it's just like this perfect storm of headache and eye strain, blurry vision a lot. So I probably am at a disadvantage against all these kids as they're dolphin diving and fucking There's a TikTok that I saw that had like a fucking Five Nights at Freddy jump scare as this dude jumped and lunged towards this person playing Black Ops 6. And I feel like that's a perfect encapsulation. If I can find it on YouTube, I'll put it in the description, because I'm not doing it justice. Because it really is how that feels. As you're rounding a corner, someone just fucking dives out of nowhere. It's a total jump scare. I'm picking the weeds for fun. Other than Black Ops 6, I mean, I've been having fun with the game. Don't get me wrong. I miss the days of Call of Duty when I had a lot of people to play with. I feel like Call of Duty and games as a whole were funner when you had people to play with. Like, the past probably like 3 or 4 Call of Duties have been solo experiences for me. And like, usually you see people online like, oh, where are we dropping in tonight, boys? Like, I don't know, maybe that's just like a thing that you experience as a younger person. Like, work a 9 to 5, I'm busy, I got shit going on outside of work. Volunteer with animal rescue. I was in school. Like, I get that I'm busy, other people my age are busy. But I'm like, where did the community and companionship and shit in games go? It's one thing to like have people come over and be like, hey, you guys want to play Mario Party? But like, online gaming, I feel like, at least in my circle, is kind of dead. I'm trying to resurrect it with my friends. We'll see where we get with this. I've been telling them we should hop back on Minecraft. I feel like I talked about that, because Minecraft did that shady shit where they were like, hey, you better move your login to this server or else we're gonna yoink your privileges of playing. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it someday, I swear, I'll get to it. And I just never did. And they're like, hey, now you gotta rebuy the game. And I was like, hey, that's kind of shitty. But anyways, we gotta talk about the Cavs, because they're 6-0. This team looks like the real fucking deal. Evan Mobley has definitely taken a leap. He's gone from like decent defender with poor offensive game, like, I don't know who's the, like Tyrus Thomas. That's a deep cut power forward for anybody that is a real hoop head. He's gone from Tyrus Thomas to like second year Kevin Garnett overnight with Kenny Atkinson at head coach, and I'm absolutely here for it. I went to both preseason games, and I was going to start going to, I debated on going to the Magic game and then also the Bucks game on Monday. But man, like, between the Guardians ending, where they did, and then now the Browns are pretty bad, with Jack the Ripper at quarterback, even though he got hurt. I'm still pissed they let go of Flacco. With all those shitty teams, people I think are really like gravitating towards the Cavs because prices are just astronomical. Like, I waited and waited and waited because I wanted to go to the home opener. And usually as you get closer to a game, people are busy and they're like, oh shit, I can't go. Better flip these tickets for less than I bought them for. And usually I can get like mid-level, like club level seats for like $45-50. This time, man, right before the game when they would usually drop, they all skyrocketed to like $150-200. And I was like, who the fuck is paying for this? Like, why is this stuff selling out? Also, who has money for that? I wait because I think like, oh, I'll save some money, I'll get a deal. And then I don't get a deal, and it pisses me off. The same thing's happening with Creed. I wanted to go see Creed. They're playing at fucking Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. And I thought, oh, well, it's Creed. Like, they're rising in popularity again, but, like, who actually is going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go see Creed? Other than, like, dudes my age, which me and my buddies did want to go. But now, like, club level, like, on the other end of the fucking arena is, like, $200. So we have to hope that the stuff drops back down. Because I would love to see Creed. Fantastic band. I love me some butt rock. But anyways, let's keep talking here. Because I do have a couple more points I want to make. NBA 2K25 came out. I wasn't going to get it. It went on sale. I ended up buying it. It's just alright. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these game companies. Another point I have to make about Black Ops 6. I'm gonna loop these in together. I don't care, sheep. If it's not broke, don't fix it. They ruined the RCXD in Black Ops 6. I can't fucking drive that thing. It's like I bought a little toy car from Big Lots. Like, it's not working. It doesn't turn. It doesn't jump. I don't know. Like, you press A and it just doesn't fucking jump. They've had that kill streak for like fucking 15 years. It was in the first Black Ops, if I remember right. How do you fucking, like, it had the same controls and same fluid motions and shit for the past 15 years throughout all the Treyarch games, and all of a sudden now it doesn't fucking work? Like, what the hell happened? But that's how I feel about 2K25. Like, when I first booted it up, I'm playing offline, like, my GM mode, and there's fucking input lag, and I'm like, alright, it can't be my TV. It can't be my Xbox. Like, what's the fucking deal here? Why is there so much input lag? When I press fucking shoot, it takes 45 minutes for the guy to actually fucking shoot the ball. When I go to steal, I press X and he just stands there. The guy blows right past me and scores. Like, what's the issue here? Like, I understand, like, I've never been a big online 2K player. I was back in the day, but it was when I had friends and we just fucked around and, like, did stupid shit instead of taking it serious. I've never been big into playing 2K online because it doesn't work. Like, there's so much input lag, and I'm not willing to, like, put up with that. It's the reason why I won't play, like, Game Pass Cloud on my Steam Deck, because there's so much fucking input lag. And I know it's, like, very minimal on that, at least, and, like, you can get away with it if you play, like, RPGs. Like, don't play, like, a first-person shooter if you want super precise, like, on-time controls. But I don't know, I'm just big anti-input lag, but I feel like anybody should be anti-input lag. No one's gonna be like, yes, I love pressing a button, and 3 minutes later my character moves. And then two more things. The new Godzilla movie got announced, which is pretty sweet. I hope they introduce a new monster instead of, like, recycling something for the sake of the box office. I feel like it's the same director from -1. I feel like he would have some pretty good ideas, because I think he's the special effects director and, like, producer, so he's probably got a big input on what monster would go up against Godzilla. I feel like this iteration of him would be pretty unstoppable against another monster. I mean, it took a lot to take him down, even if it was just temporary. But I mean, if they have to bring somebody back, I hope it's like Anguirus or somebody they don't really use very often. I don't want them to keep going to the, like, Mothra Ghidorah well like they usually do. And then also the Cure dropped a new album, and I haven't listened to it yet. But once I do, rest assured you will get my official review. I've waited, I think they announced this album like 20 plus years ago, so it's been a very long time coming. They played some of the stuff when I saw them 2 summers ago, I think. Like, not this past one, but the one before this one. I saw them at Blossom, which is just an awful music venue to get in and out of. It's not bad once you get into it. I saw Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper there in August, and also Pitbull. Not the same show, obviously. They were back-to-back nights, so I had to deal with Blossom traffic back-to-back nights, which was not very fun. But both shows were great. I'm trying to think if I've seen anybody else recently. I saw the Front Bottoms when I went on vacation in Boston. I feel like this video has been like a half hour long. I saw the Front Bottoms there, and then I saw them again when I was back home in Cleveland. But anyways, I'm done taking up all of the time. I feel like I've gotten all my bitches and gripes out about various things. More videos soon to come, hopefully. I know I say that probably quarterly at this point. I posted about it. One last thing before I wrap up here. I posted about it on the like the community page or whatever. It should have shown up in people's sub boxes. Stephen Plays talked about it best, so go watch his video that I linked. but like the traditional Let's Play is totally dying. Like the YouTube algorithm doesn't really push it anymore. It's like fast-paced, highly edited shit. Like Video Game Donkey type videos do really, really well. I'm not an editor. I'm pretty stupid when it comes to editing videos. As long as I've been doing this, I haven't been exposed, or like I haven't tried to edit very well. But I would like to do that more often. To be honest, I saw on Twitter the other day somebody had posted a link of a bunch of Adobe products, like cracked versions of them. So I'm going to try to go back and see if Premiere is able to download now. It had reached the download limit before, because I'd love to have like Premiere, Photoshop, and After Effects. So we'll see if I can get that going. Anyways, I'm Good Old Fashioned Cola. Thanks for joining me here. Eventually I'll put out the 10-year retrospective once I have everything filmed. It might end up being an 11-year thing. But anyways, I'm Good Old Fashioned Cola, and I will see you guys back here later.